Well, he's just put a knife in Maradona's heart. Man, imagine hearing that line echoing through a packed stadium. It's dramatic, it's totally visceral, and you know what? It perfectly captures the absolute sheer shock of what unfolded on the pitch that day. But before we even unpack who did the metaphorical stabbing, we've got to understand the absolute gravity of the stage we're on. Welcome to today's Explainer. I'm so thrilled you're here with us because we are diving into an absolute masterclass of narrative football. Seriously, this isn't just your standard game recap. It's a massive, character-driven clash. On one side, you have this passionate, fiery chaos led by a literal legend of the sport. And on the other, relentless, cold, clinical execution. We're talking about Germany versus Argentina at the 2010 World Cup. Let's get right into the anatomy of this historic match. Section 1, a high-stakes quarter-final. So, picture this. The setting is Cape Town, South Africa, and the stakes, colossal. The winner earns the right to advance to the semifinals of the 2010 World Cup, while the loser packs their bags and goes home empty-handed. Heading into this heavyweight fight, these two giants were just incredibly evenly matched. I mean, look at this. Germany came in ranked as the 6th best team in the world, and Argentina was right on their heels at number 7. On paper, this was a true heavyweight fight. Two footballing powerhouses, neck and neck globally, colliding in a massive winner-takes-all scenario. Everybody thought this was going to be a tight, grueling contest. Section 2. The ball boy strikes first.
But as we know, football isn't played on paper, right? It's played on the grass, and it's heavily influenced by very human elements like pride and ego. Get this, incredible piece of pregame history. Argentina's manager, the absolute icon, Diego Maradona, had actually crossed paths with young German attacker Thomas Müller at a press conference a few months prior. And Maradona's reaction? He genuinely thought Müller was one of the ball boys because he looked so incredibly young. He literally just dismissed him. This staggering display of managerial hubris perfectly set the stage for what was about to go down.
Which brings us to this number, 3. Because it took exactly 3 minutes for that so-called ball boy to make Maradona pay. 3 minutes. Following a dangerous crossfield free kick from Bastian Schweinsteiger, the game absolutely exploded. Thomas Müller drifted right across the Argentine defenders, who, by the way, were nowhere to be found, and launched a header too strong for goalkeeper Romero. Just like that, 3 minutes in, Germany was on the scoreboard with one of the quickest goals in World Cup finals history. Actually, it was Müller's 3rd goal in just 2 games. That early goal, that was the proverbial knife in Maradona's heart. Moving right along to Section 3, Argentina's frustrated fight back. So a dream start for the Germans obviously meant an immediate nightmare for Argentina. Following that lightning-fast strike, the game fell into a bit of a lull. You had a stunned Argentine squad desperately trying to find a way back through an incredibly disciplined German defense. They needed a spark, and to be fair, they certainly had the terrifying array of rich talent to find one. Look at these names: Carlos Tevez, Angel Di Maria, Gonzalo Higuain, and of course the talisman himself, Lionel Messi. Just to give you some context on Messi's form at the time, he had just come off a season where he scored an astonishing 47 times for Barcelona. 47. If any attacking lineup could break down a defense, it was this one. They were absolutely hunting for that gap.
But amidst all this Argentine pressure comes a really bittersweet turning point for Germany. During a play involving Messi, a handball is called against Thomas Müller. The referee produces a yellow card. Now, the massive implication here is that even if Germany survives this onslaught and advances, their opening goal scorer, Thomas Müller, is going to be suspended. He won't be able to play in the semifinals. That is a massive blow for the German squad. Meanwhile, Argentina just kept pushing, desperately seeking that equalizer. And for one fleeting second, they thought they actually had it. Talk about an agonizing emotional roller coaster. Higuain manages to top the ball into the net, and you can imagine the explosion of joy. But it doesn't last. The flag is raised straight away. Offside. No question about it. The looks on their faces really said it all. No goal. Germany still leads. Section 4. The German machine engages. Okay, so as the second half begins, Argentina comes out sprinting. They're seeing a lot more of the ball, they're stringing passes together. Angel Di Maria unleashes this flashing left-footed drive, forcing the German goalkeeper Manuel Neuer to make a really sharp stop. But Neuer holds firm. And then, the German counterattack truly awakens. Germany finds an opening, and Miroslav Klose is right there to practically just walk the ball into the net. Now, this wasn't just a devastating second goal, it was a massive personal milestone. This was Klose's 100th appearance for Germany, it was his 51st international goal, and crucially, it was his 13th World Cup finals goal, pushing him ahead of absolute legends of the game, like Pelé.
The sheer simplicity of that goal completely broke Argentine hearts. But the machine wasn't done. The Argentine defense, frankly, looked like they had completely packed it in. Schweinsteiger does the heavy lifting, blowing right past these helpless defenders and pushes the ball directly into the path of Arne Friedrich. Friedrich finishes it off with what they call a toe poke. Look, it might not have been the prettiest strike, but it didn't matter one bit. It was 3-0, and, incredibly, it was Friedrich's first ever international goal in 77 games. You honestly couldn't write a better script. And then comes the final, definitive blow. A sweeping German raid utilizes all this space left by a completely deflated Argentine midfield. A cross comes in, and there is Miroslav Klose again, just queuing up to put it on a plate. He scores his second of the day. 4 for Germany, 2 for Klose. Unbelievable. Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, a thrashing for the ages. As the final whistle approached, the harsh reality of the situation really set in. This wasn't just a victory, it was an absolute demolition. The Argentine squad, packed with literally some of the most fearsome attacking talent on the planet, had been utterly torn to shreds by the Mannschaft. It's going to go down as one of the greatest days for German football in World Cup history. And to really understand the tragic irony of this match, just consider Lionel Messi. Despite a 47-goal season at his club, he finishes the 2010 World Cup with 0 goals. 0. His only World Cup goal had come 4 years prior against Serbia and Montenegro. He was completely neutralized in this game, just puffing his cheeks in frustration. On the flip side, Germany, operating with this lethal precision, puts up 4 goals in this quarterfinal alone. It was a masterclass in clinical, team-oriented finishing going up against isolated individual brilliance. So that leaves us with this final lingering thought. Diego Maradona and his star-studded team were completely thrashed 4-0. Germany didn't just win. They sent a terrifying message out to every single team that still survived in the tournament about their quest for a 4th World Cup title. It really begs the question, what is the ultimate price of underestimating your opponent? And after a humiliation of this magnitude on the world stage, you really have to wonder, could a legendary figure like Maradona ever truly come back from this as a manager? Think about that as you reflect on the hubris and the machine. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you